I just received the best, probably most hilarious gift ever. Let's talk a little bit about that and communication. All right, so check this out. To celebrate our first semester of distance learning, our district bought us a shirt. They were designed by a local artist. It was printed on all these shirts given to all these schools, and we finally got them today. And I was actually kind of pumped. Like, it's rare the district buys us anything like this to show, like, spirit and support. So, understandably, me and a lot of teachers were really excited. And then I saw the shirts. They are seriously amazing. Everyone's ragging on these shirts. I really don't, I don't really know what to think, honestly. They're kind of crazy. Let me describe it to you. So we're in Fresno, California. The backdrop of this shirt is West Fresno. You can kind of see some of the skyscrapers in downtown, that sort of thing. And I say skyscrapers loosely because they're not super, tall skyscrapers. There is a animated hand holding a phone. Phone is definitely an Android. Coming out of the phone is a person. They're all yellow. Everyone's yellow. Person coming out of the phone there's two people. There's a lady in a skirt who has a book, wearing a mask. And there's a kid, I'm assuming, or a man, whatever, in jeans, a shirt with his hand in his pocket and the other hand holding outwards. Okay, like you're asking for money or something. Then in the foreground is, I don't know, it looks like a baseball field, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of impressive. Everyone doesn't, I don't know, I don't think they like it. I think they're kind of, I don't know, I'm laughing. I'm like, I walked over here in tears. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was I don't know, I thought it was a good thing. It's not the most flattering shirt. I mean, it's white, first off. I don't know, it was, oh my God. If you are listening to this and you designed that shirt, I apologize. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the choice you made. Anyways, that being said, it leads us into today's topic. And I actually didn't even know what to talk about until I saw that shirt. And then I realized communication is extremely important. First off, we have many talented teachers at my school site, in my whole district. And I am extremely blessed to be here with very, very talented individuals. We have several talented graphic artists. In fact, the graphic artist that I co-advise with for the sophomore class used to be a professional illustrator. Now, I know other teachers have been professional, graphic designers, digital designers. You would think you would ask the former professionals to, maybe design you up. I'll usually get like a couple options. So if I'm going out and I'm trying to get a hat, I'm wearing a custom hat right now. It's very simple, very clean. It has my logo on it. It says WU Woodshop, right? Custom and educational woodworking with a saw, a little triangle, California, with a star on Fresno. Okay, it's on a leather patch on a black hat. Very, very clean, very simple. I've gotten a lot of compliments over it. It is extremely clean and clean cut, defined lines. There's no curves. There's no illustrations. It's very, very clean, modern looking. That's what the style is right now. If I was in the 90s, I would be stoked about these shirts. Like, full on, I would literally be absolutely stoked. But you know what? I'm not in the 90s. I'm in the 2020s, and we're trying to go over a pandemic, and the last thing we need is some cartoons. So, that being said, I think when it comes down to getting these things, they should have communicated with the teachers that are also professionals. It's supposed to be for staff. It's supposed to be something that staff is proud to wear. So why wouldn't you get staff advice on it? It's kind of my goal. I mean, have 3 designs. I picked out for my hats 3 designs. 1 I made, 2 I had kids made, and we kind of went through and I took elements of everything and kind of put it all into one design, and I really liked it. So I kept it, right? And that's the design I kind of use. I have stickers made, I have cards, that sort of stuff. That being said, when it comes down to designing logos, designing captions, that sort of deal, we need to make sure that we are getting input. And that goes for teaching and even professional construction. Oftentimes, contractors hire companies to do like a pre-inspection. So it's not like a city inspection that is pass-fail. You only get like a couple of those, a couple like appointments, I mean. But here's the deal. You're getting 2 or 3 appointments. That's fantastic for this county guy to come out. But why don't you just get one guy to come out who will tell you everything wrong so you'll be ready when the county guy comes out? Most people get the separate company to come out and do a pre-inspection, just like the county inspector, but it is a private company doing that inspection. Similar things with teachers, and I think this is my biggest gripe with distance learning and what's going on in schools right now. There is nobody that are asking teachers how they feel, and they're making calls based upon what they think is best better or best for teachers without actually seeking the advice of teachers. And when they ask for the advice of teachers, understand they're going to get some negative opinions because not all teachers are happy with what's going on right now. They don't think that what we're doing is either right or they think that we should keep doing what we're doing or whatever. But that's what's important, is that we need to figure out where teachers are. We need to make sure that the teachers actually want to teach because, yeah, we want kids back in school, but we also want teachers to be able to teach. And I think when it comes down to it, I think teachers need to have a voice, but also not seem, like jerks. And I think a lot of teachers come across as jerks, probably because we're fed up with what we're given. But I think we just need to keep cool, calm, collected. It goes with any job, really, not even just teachers. If you're just cool, calm, collected, and ask for communication, I think you should receive it. Now, if you're a jerk, then you don't I don't think you receive much. I don't think you should receive much. But I digress. Anyways, back to the communication piece. When building anything, I always ask, and I'm always having the customer involved with the process of the project, picking out colors, getting something they want, so that they feel like they're building it. They feel like they're getting their money's worth because they feel like they have control of the project. Even though I'm the one that has control, I'm the one building it, right? So when it comes down to putting projects together and actually getting things done, I want the customer involved the most as possible. And I think that's how they should have done it with these shirts, right? I think that's how they should do it with reopening schools. You want both sides in clear, open communication as much as possible. How do parents feel? How do students feel? How do teachers feel? How does staff feel, right? Let's figure out how people feel. Let's send out surveys, make them truly anonymous. Don't collect names and, don't collect email addresses. Make it as most anonymous as possible. That's what we really need. We need true anonymity. We need true, just truly anonymous. That way you'll get the most honest responses. But I also have a feeling that they don't want the most honest responses. They want, the response that makes them feel good about whatever they're doing. And that's pretty clear. That's very, very clear, actually, pretty relevant to what's going on, is that they want to hear the responses that they want to hear, if that makes sense. They want to hear the good responses, not the bad. When it comes down to building something, when it comes down to using tools, I think having a open line of communication between your boss and yourself is very important. It comes into play tremendous amounts of time. For example, I've worked quite a few jobs, and I've always felt that I could talk to my boss about anything. And that was a great thing to have, right? If I wanted to go out and do something, I can easily call up or just run over and talk to my boss, and he would either give me the green light or the red light, and vice versa. He would ask me for my opinion on something, even though he is the true expert. I worked at a golf course, and my boss has been working at golf courses his whole life, right? So for, 30, 40 plus years, been working at a golf course. This guy knows a lot about golf courses, but he'll still ask me my opinion on things, even when I've only worked there about 7 years. You reach a point where you start to get really comfortable with what you're doing. You start to really learn all the motions and how things work, and your boss knows this. And if he's a good boss, he's not going to have a I'm better than you attitude. And I think that's what kills companies. If you're a student, you're listening to this, and you want to own a company, understand there's going to be a point, hopefully, that you are going to be successful. And that's awesome. I want you all to be successful. Every single one of you to be successful. And if you own a company, do not think you're better than your employees. You're not. Some of your employees might be better than you. I think that's crazy to think about. It's very, very crazy to think about. Some of your employees are more than likely going to be way better than you are. And they're probably on their way to owning a company themselves. My grandfather was just like that. He moved over here from Louisiana. He worked on Navy ships in New Orleans, the naval yard over there. Moved over here because he wanted to live with his sister and his sister's boyfriend. They were laying concrete in San Francisco. He started to do the same. He started to lay concrete, and then he got interested. He goes, what if I'm kind of good at this, and what if I have a company? So his sister's boyfriend was a good guy and helped him start a company, right? Even though he knew it would be taking away jobs from him because there's a new competition in town, he was more than willing to help him because that was good for the overall industry, and he knew that. And that's kind of what you have to think about too. Competition is very, very good for the industry. It means you have to work a lot harder, absolutely, but it's very, very good. You shouldn't be in the business to crush your competition. You should be in the business of competing with your competition, right? If your competition wins and you have to come in better, you can't just throw a fit and beat them, right? And get them out of business. Now, at times it is helpful, right? Your competitor goes out of business, but that's also kind of a bad thing too, because guess what? You're next. If they went out of business for some reason, if they went out of business because they weren't getting any jobs or money, then oof, hopefully you have enough loyal customers built up. And we're going to talk about that relatively soon and how to invoice and build up a customer base. But it all starts with communication and having a good work ethic. So my grandfather, instead of expanding his company, he just made new companies in different cities he he went to. So if you move down from, San Francisco, you have the city of industry, you have Daly City, all those, into like San Jose, those sort of Alameda, Fremont, all those places, you start building new companies and having new crews. But then he would slowly sell off his companies as well, right? You have a worker who's a go-getter, really wants to work. All right, well, you want this company? I mean, I'm all the way down in these other cities doing all this other work. If you want this one, I'll sell it to you for, a small percentage. And that's what he did. He sold the company, then he took that money and invested it back into either property or he bought more companies. So it was kind of that tycoon thing. He had a huge plaque made with all the companies he's owned and was very proud of that. And there's a lot of companies. There's like 8 or 9 at least. Anyways, his most popular one, the one that he retired with, was California Construction Company. It was called the Concrete King, which is weird because there was another company also called the Concrete King, but this one was California Construction, and I believe California Construction is still happening to this day. It was sold to a family friend of ours, as it was everything, and I believe he still has a crew that runs underneath the old California Construction logo and name. I do have the California Construction magnet that my grandfather put on his truck, and it's sitting up in my office. I'm looking at it right now, so if you hear my voice change, it's because I'm looking at that California Construction. It's something kind of crazy and something that I really hold near and dear to my heart. I love looking at that and just seeing that, the legacy of that magnet. So anyways, it's all about clear and open communication. Everyone that's worked with my grandfather has loved working with him. He was a hard person to work with, but he was a no-nonsense, if we're working kind of guy. He wasn't afraid to ease the tension, though, when he needed to, and that's what's important, right? It's okay to be no-nonsense. We're working, we got to really focus on. But if you notice the morale of your workers going down, you need to be able to, one, accept communication from them and find out why they are not performing up to your standard. And two, you need to figure out why or how you can relieve or up those morals some way. This goes with teaching as well. If you're a principal, your job is to figure out, okay, how's the morale of the school? How's the culture of your staff? If your staff isn't happy, your students aren't going to be happy, right? Because we are in direct contact with those students. And if we're pissed off, students are going to be pissed off, right? We're in a negative attitude. So how can you kind of pump the brakes and figure out how to increase morale? One of these ways were to buy shirts for the staff, which was fantastic. But they this is kind of good though. I mean, it does increase my morale a little bit because I really want one of these shirts. No one will ever believe me when I tell this story. I need one of those shirts. But it's the same thing. We got to increase morale. If you're a teacher and you're teaching in your class, you're the boss of that classroom. If you notice morale of your class is going down, you're doing something wrong and you need to fix it, right? Maybe you're going through a really tough unit. Maybe you're going through a really tough one. For me, it's always measuring and laying out. It's a lot of math involved, and a lot of kids really struggle with that. And I notice, and you can see them start to shut down and not want to perform. So what do? Well, you take some time, maybe throw on a funny YouTube video or do something kind of silly, like, I don't know, pretend to have a little freak out moment. They laugh and they're back in a better mood, and so you're able to attack things a little bit differently. And it gets you in a different mindset too, because it allowed you a little bit of an outlet to kind of maybe get out some of those frustrations as well. There's nothing worse than a teacher who doesn't pay attention to the classroom atmosphere, the classroom environment. If you're not paying attention to how your classroom is running, you are not going to be really a solid teacher to begin with. When we run and we do classroom, health checks, we should actually do that. We should call it that and as well, a classroom health check. Every now and then we should do a little check of our classrooms. Make sure everything's running smoothly. Make sure everything is going good. Take a day, right? Take a day from your curriculum. Your curriculum is not as important as a student's mindset or mental health in that particular state. So take a day, man. Take a day and just have a relaxation. Companies do this as well. You can see them do company barbecues. I mean, maybe not now, but you can see them do company barbecues, all that stuff. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing that they have. It's a good thing they do, is they do those company types of barbecues, and it increases that morale that employees may need, right? So it gives them something. Christmas bonuses are something that companies do to increase worker morale. It makes them feel special. It's like a little gift you give them. Any extra money can go back to the employees, and they're more likely to stay. When I worked retail, right, we did a lot, we had game night one time. We took all the TVs. We worked at Best Buy, took all the TVs and hooked up different consoles to it and had a game night one night. Everyone loved it. We had a taco truck one day. They, often bought us food and stuff, and it made us more, feel more welcome and I don't know, appreciated. So it is very, 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 very important to keep our employees happy, to keep our students happy, to be happy ourselves. Now, I want us to think about how we can create that happiness in whatever job we're doing. Hopefully you're in a position where you have people that you supervise, right? And if you're not, you have a supervisor, but try to figure out what the line of communication is. If you have a supervisor and you are the bottom of the totem pole, do you feel like you have an open line of communication communication between you and your immediate supervisor? If the answer is no, maybe you should start looking for a new job. And I know it's scary. It's a scary thing to think about, especially in these times, but trust me, you will be happier. If you feel like you can go to your immediate supervisor and ask him anything and just talk to him, you are in a good place. So keep that going, right? Keep that place up and going. So when you're a supervisor, make sure you establish that early on. And I guarantee you will keep people and you'll want people to work for you because you have an open, clear line of communication. I mean, that's the main goal of everything, is just to have a clear, open line of communication. Now, the one thing I want to leave you guys on is always get a ridiculous shirt. It'll make you laugh, right? If you see a shirt, you walk into a store and you see a shirt, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe someone made that. Go out and buy it. It's worth it, right? Give you something to look forward to. Give you something that you like. Because the last thing I want for you guys is to have something that you don't look forward to have something that you don't like, and to have something that really bogs you down. But at least if you get something, you can buy it to remember maybe a better time, a vacation, something. You're like, look at this stupid shirt I found. Then you have something, right? Find something. It doesn't have to be a shirt. Find something that you like to better your life, to increase your morale. Because at the end of the day, your happiness is your customer's happiness. Your customer's happiness is your happiness. Once everyone's happy, the circle is going around. You're never going to make everyone happy, I should say, but you can make those who matter happy. And I think that's the most important point that I really want to drive home with you guys. People matter. People also hopefully give you money, right? Hopefully buy services from you. So let's make them happy. Some people you don't want to make happy are people who aren't doing anything for you. If they're not helping you in any way, if you're not giving you anything, don't give them anything. You are not free. Let me repeat that. You are not free. You have a skill, a talent that people would want, that need. That's why they're asking you to do something. You're not shamed to ask for money or anything in return. You need to ask for something in return, in my personal opinion. Now, if you're helping a family member out, yeah, it's a little bit different. Like, help your mom out. She's given you a lot. Help your dad out. He's given you a lot, right? You can help them out. But a random person down the street who asks for help, first off, depends what you need help with, right? If, they're dying and they need someone to come and, give CPR to their cat, you can be the good person. Be the good person. But if someone says, hey, I really need you to build a shed for me, well, you better ask for some money, right? Don't do that for free. There's a difference between kind act and working act. Sometimes they're the same, but oftentimes there's a very, very, very distinct difference. So make sure we're paying attention to those differences. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed Chip Happens. I think this is number 17. I just released number 16 today. We had a tools happen literally 6 days ago, so that was cool. Once I get more news about tools coming out, I know there's tools getting released all the time, but there's no big events just yet. Pipeline, which is the main Milwaukee event, I think happens in February. I gotta get back on that. I don't want to mistake that one. Someone on my YouTube channel lovingly called out that I said the Ryobi was made by DeWalt. I was corrected. They are not made by DeWalt. Thank you to whoever said that. They are actually made by Milwaukee. I get them mixed up for some reason. They are made by the same company who makes Milwaukee tools, also who makes Dirt Devil too. I did not know the Dirt Devil was made by the same company who made Milwaukee, that sort of thing. It makes me look at them a hair differently, but they're still not good vacuums in my personal opinion. Hey, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go out, communicate with someone. I think next week is the next episode. This episode comes out on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope everyone has a fantastic holiday season. Spend some time with your loved ones. Be safe. And I will see you guys next episode. See you guys later. This has been an episode of the Chip Happens podcast. Thank you all for listening, and I will catch you next week with another exciting episode.